Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101, 8 o'clock on Friday. Time for Case's movie review. And with the sad passing of Robert Duvall at 95 years old, there was a lot of movies to choose from. And Karen in Brookfield said the Case chose the right one to do this week. Apocalypse Now. So many to choose from. You could do a whole quarter of Robert Duvall movies. But thanks for checking in from Brookfield. This review is for you.
For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and we will be open for business.
What country you from? What ain't no country I ever heard of? They speak English and what?
Utah. Give me 2.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
Wax on, right hand. Wax off, left hand.
Now fry like bacon, you little freshman piggies. Fry! Fry!
Playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
Well, Apocalypse Now, the review. And right after this, we will have a chance to get to Universal Orlando Resort, a 4-person trip. So at the end of this, like we're doing all week, right there at around 8:10, we will get you qualified for the trip from Brian and Kenzie on Q101. But now it's Apocalypse Now time. Robert Duvall tragically passing away this week at the age of 95. So Apocalypse Now was released on August 15th, 1979. The budget was $31.5 million. The box office was $150 million. On review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, Apocalypse Now holds an approval rating of 91% based on 148 reviews, with an average rating of 9 out of 10. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Was ranked as the 12th greatest movie quote of all time by the American Film Institute in 2005. I've heard that from so many people that have not seen the movie. It's one of those quotes that just carries through.
I had never heard the quote until this week, and now everybody's been telling me about how much they love the smell of napalm.
Well, we'll find out if you love the smell of it, because you've seen the movie now. I didn't realize it was that high, though. A 12th all-time quote. That's
a lot of quotes in movies.
Yeah, that's a good one, too. Next week, by the way, Case reviews Pretty in Pink for its 40th anniversary. That's amazing. But let's get to Apocalypse Now. Nothing like Pretty in Pink. I mean, not even in the same universe.
Different vibe.
No, you will not confuse them, when you're trying to stream either one of them.
Where's the damn dress?
Let's go back, as we always do first, to play the trailer on how Apocalypse Now was advertised August 15th, 1979, when it came out.
It has been called a masterpiece.
A nightmare.
Horrifying.
Electrifying.
Beautiful.
Terrifying.
Mystical.
Magical.
Incredible.
Insane.
Francis Ford Coppola presents Marlon Brando, Robert Duvall, Martin Sheen. Apocalypse Now. Rated R. Check newspapers for a theater near you.
The voiceover guy had a thesaurus by him and doing every descriptive word possible used for the movie. Apocalypse Now. And I think I keep saying that this is your first Vietnam movie, but Forrest Gump does count as a Vietnam movie.
I've seen Forrest Gump before, and a lot of the early parts of this movie, I was like, this is just like Forrest Gump.
Same song.
Until it didn't become like Forrest Gump.
Kenzie, that's a great point. There's no Creedence Clearwater Revival in this movie. Which is a major flaw.
So it's not a real Vietnam movie.
It's a fake Vietnam movie. We'll say it right now. Apocalypse Now, fake Vietnam movie.
So you've never seen a Vietnam movie?
Other than Forrest Gump.
Can't believe it.
I got to admit, I've seen this probably 5 times, and I thought it was in there. I just thought it was in there.
No, there's a horrible song by The Doors to start the movie, and then the Rolling Stones are in there. But it's not, it's not a big soundtrack movie. I don't think anybody had Apocalypse Now, the album. Because it's The Doors, it's the Rolling Stones, and then it's the Flight of the Valkyries at one point, which they're playing out of the helicopters that are shooting Vietnamese people.
Oh, that is, it's like you placing how Tarantino placed music in violent scenes. That's what he did here with this movie.
I guess if I was going to be at war, though, I probably wouldn't bring a boombox. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's why I'm not a great sergeant.
See, I'm opposite. If I was going to war, I'm bringing a boombox for sure.
You get amped up. I got something.
Kenzie would have mixed CDs ready to go.
You can't just raw dog the war. You need like a hype up music.
Yeah. I guess I could always pop in my AirPods if I had to and maybe listen to a podcast while I'm storming the beaches of Vietnam.
Yeah, I'd have Mulan's I'll Make a Man Out of You. How make a man. I'd be like strong.
That's the difference between us. I would go with Pantera Walk as I was going in the battle.
I'm sure many men have walked in a battle with Pantera Walk.
So, Case, what'd you think about Apocalypse Now?
So, bit of a tough watch.
I said it would ruin you watching this movie.
Like last week, I watched The Wedding Singer, and I was like, this is nice. Drew Barrymore's very quirky. It's a nice love story. I can place myself into this universe. At no point watching Apocalypse Now was I like, all right, so what would I do if I was in this movie? And I think that's part of my problem is that if I, like the military, they love telling you what to do. They're always like, you have to go do this. And if I was in the military and they came to me and they said, if Harrison Ford sat me down and said, okay, so you know how we're in Vietnam? They'd be like, yeah. He's like, okay, so we need you to go to Cambodia. And we need you to take out one of our own guys who has completely lost his mind. And by the way, if anybody ever asks you about this mission, it doesn't exist and will deny it. I would say no. I would say, can't you have somebody else do this? I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to Cambodia. That sounds awful.
Well, you also would say probably, isn't that wrong?
Well,
to do that?
Yes, was I wrong?
Is that wrong to do that?
We have the audio of that of Michael. Is it Michael Sheen? Martin Sheen?
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, who, by the way, handsome as hell.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you know this, though. He almost died on set of this movie.
Yes, I did. So there's a lot of research about the filming of this movie and how he almost died. It's very interesting. But we have the audio which sets up the entire premise of the movie with Harrison Ford and Martin Sheen and a few other guys. I'd like to hear that clip.
And this is the Terminate the Colonel clip?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Your mission is to proceed up the Nung River in a Navy patrol boat.
I'm out already.
Pick up
No,
Colonel
thank you.
Kurtz's path at New Mung Ba.
No.
Follow it. Learn what you can along the way.
No.
When you find the Colonel, infiltrate his team by whatever means available and terminate the Colonel's command.
Terminate the Colonel. Terminate with extreme prejudice.
You understand, Captain, that this mission does not exist, nor will it ever exist.
Oh.
I don't feel like I can infiltrate anything. They've got the wrong guy. Don't ask me to do that.
Didn't it sound like something different in the middle, though, when he's like, learn what you can along the way? That was like, take the journey in. That was like, so, it's not about the destination. Learn what you can along the way. Take it in.
I would love you in that situation just saying, like, look, you got the wrong guy for this thing.
I'm going to go, actually. You guys, like, there's no scenario in which I'd be like, yes, sir, of course, sir. I will infiltrate the island of Cambodia and take out our own guy.
It's also funny to think that you're the guy they chose. Like, of all the people they had
I
to,
agree.
Like, we just got to go like, well, is Case okay for this mission? What do you, I guess we'll spring him in here and talk to him about it.
Because I've never really, like, I didn't go to the ROTC table in high school and be like, what is this? I was always like, no, I'm good. I don't really want to do any of that.
The only time Case would have agreed is at the end. He said, this mission never exists. You're like, correct.
It doesn't.
You're correct. It never existed. Goodbye.
Now, I'll go to a hardcore show in Cambodia. There's some good bands over there.
Dead Kennedy's playing what's going on now. But I don't,
military guys, they got their name, Vietnam.
That's the only military I've ever fit in. It was watching
love
that
them.
band.
Yeah.
So
chilling.
It's a 2.5-hour movie. The first 2 hours are all about getting to Cambodia.
Yeah.
Bunch of tough stuff along the way. A lot of people die. A lot of war. I don't know how they shot this movie because there's so many real explosions and real fire and real helicopters. I think if the movie was made now, I'd still go, God, I don't know how they did some of that. But they made it in 1979 when computers weren't a thing.
No, calculators, no computers.
I know, but it's amazing how they did all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why Martin Sheen almost died. He had a near-fatal heart attack because of the horrible conditions of the movie that the director tried to cover up. He, almost killed him.
If it ever gets back into a theater near you, and it does now and then, you should go see it. It's a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, I had the volume cranked up really loud, but I don't have that big of a TV, so I got to experience it on a wider screen next time.
How big was the speaker you have?
Well, I just had the volume up on the TV.
Oh, just the TV?
Just the remote. I just hit volume up a lot.
You don't have any back speakers or surround speakers for the helicopters and explosions and stuff?
I live in a studio apartment. I don't live in an IMAX.
Well, you could make the whole thing like your theater room. The one room.
Well, some people buy those projectors.
You could do that.
In a way, every day walking in here feels like Vietnam. I know we have to take a break. I know we have to get people to Universal. When we come back, I have a few more thoughts on this. We have to talk about Robert Duvall's character And the thing about him that nobody told me about going into this movie, I would love to discuss the playmates that were flown into Vietnam. Big part of the movie. And also, we have to talk about why I won't be going to Cambodia anytime soon.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And in the middle of Case's movie review of Apocalypse Now in honor of the sad passing of Robert Duvall at 95 years old. Certainly his movie, but you also do forget the massive amount of stars in this movie. Like you mentioned, Harrison Ford, Dennis Hopper, Martin Sheen, you mentioned him. Scott Glenn is a big actor that was really in this movie as well, starting out. Christopher Walken. I mean, just so many
Lawrence
people.
Fishburne, who's the dad in Boys in the Hood, which is my favorite movie.
Yeah. In fact, up until we did this movie reviews, that was the only movie Case had seen was Boys in the Hood.
Other than Norbit, yeah. And this movie is not like Norbit.
No, not at all. So
it's a shame.
I'm not sure where we left off, but of course this movie is life-changing and one of the greatest movies of all time.
So I want to talk about the character that Robert Duvall plays in this movie because everybody said when he passed away, it's like, oh, you have to do Apocalypse Now. You have to do Apocalypse Now. And so I expected him to be in this movie much more than he actually was. He's really not in this movie all that much. But I knew because we played the audio on Monday, and we'll hear the audio again in just a second of, oh, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. What nobody told me was that he was dropping napalm in that scene so that he could go surfing.
Yeah.
His character's obsessed with surfing.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Well, one of the great lines, too, that's not just a napalm in the morning, but Charlie don't surf.
Which I've heard people say that before. I didn't know where that came from.
Yeah.
But it's like they're in the unit that he's assisting at one point. There's like a professional surfer, and he goes up and recognizes him. He's like, "Oh man, I love the way you rip those waves, brother. Like, I can't wait to hang 10 with you in Vietnam." That's so weird that he's so into surfing.
Yeah.
So God forbid he has a hobby.
I
Rude.
guess. Well, his hobby appears to be dropping napalm. So let's hear that audio.
Smell that? You smell that? Napalm, son. Nothing else in the world smells like that. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. You know, one time we had a hail bomb for 12 hours, and when it was all over, I walked up. We didn't find one of them, not one stinking dink body. Smell, you know that gasoline smell, the whole hill. Smelled like victory.
Oh, God. He's standing there with his shirt off and those pants and that cowboy hat, whatever he's wearing. I want to look like that all summer on the beach in Chicago. I want to let that look.
But that whole preamble, all of that destruction that was caused, that war that was inflicted, that was just so he could go catch a wave.
Yep. It's pretty
bizarre
awesome.
behavior.
Yeah.
Absolutely bizarre. Also bizarre is the fact that they fly Playmates from the magazine Playboy out to Vietnam so that they can dance for all the soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
But they set it up to where the Playmates, they get off a helicopter, and they're essentially doing what NBA cheerleaders do during an NBA timeout now. But there's like 400 soldiers watching them. Who's enjoying that? I don't want to be around Playmates and 300 of my boys.
Well, I think in the military time like that, when you're around your boys all the time like that, it was certainly a joy, a pleasure in that situation. I know what you're saying. You're saying like it's an everyday occurrence where Playmates are coming around and I want to be alone with one.
Yeah, God forbid. That struck me as really odd in this very intense movie. And I get it. The soldiers needed reprieve. They needed something to, not go completely insane as they all ended up doing. But it is very funny that after seeing this, war and this conflict and this fire and this napalm, that we cut to a scene where they're like, all right, guys, here come the 1970s Playmates. It's a weird turn in this movie.
Yeah.
I like that you would want alone time, as if you didn't get alone time with one of them, you wouldn't just dive into their childhood trauma. That's what you would start talking about with them.
I love talking to women.
Yeah, I know. You're just like, why? What got you here? You don't have to do this. All the models would leave if you had alone time with any of them.
Not to reference Forrest Gump in the middle of Apocalypse Now, but he'd be like Forrest coming up with the jacket when she's on stage playing the guitar naked and he'd cover her up.
Oh, yeah, like a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
I'm Forrest Gump?
Yeah, but you cover her up because she's, naked
and
on
Brian
stage.
throws a beer can at you.
And I'm booing Casey. Boo! Let her sing.
Soy boy.
Soy boy.
Sorry, I like talking to women about their feelings. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, why are you so desperate for the alone time to play psychiatrist?
Yes.
It's like eating you up inside.
I would love to know more about their childhood.
Yeah, you're like, oh, hold on.
Oh, man.
So speaking of people that might have had bad childhoods, we have to talk about Marlon Brando's character, who looks like a real-life version of Gru from Despicable Me. I don't know what I was expecting when he showed up on camera, but I wasn't expecting him to be that fat and that bald, and I am not going to go to Cambodia anytime soon. We talked in the last break about how, if the military assigned me a secret mission to go take out one of my own guys, I would just turn around and not do it. Let's say I went along with the charade for a little bit, and I went on the boat all the way through Vietnam, couldn't tell my guys where we were going, and then I get to Cambodia, and I see about 9,000 people waiting for me to arrive, and I see bodies hung from trees and severed heads all over the place.
A lot of heads in this movie.
Yeah, I'm probably turning around because they didn't have cell phones then, so I could just go back to the military and be like, hey, I did it, like, problem solved. And they wouldn't know.
That's a good point.
It would take them forever to know.
Yeah, by the time they found out, you'd be back in the States.
Yeah, I'd be surfing with Robert Duvall.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, so instead what we get is Martin Sheen gets in prison. They drop a severed head in his lap, which is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in a movie before.
That's the part when I said the movie's going to ruin you.
That was awful. Yeah. I hated that. I did not like that scene at all.
Was that supposed to be like a joke or something?
No, it was supposed to be like, hey, we killed your friend. We can kill you too. And they kept on saying with the Marlon Brando character, they go, well, he likes you because if he wanted you dead, you'd be dead already.
Yeah.
They have never said that about me before. That's terrifying.
There kind of was, no rules over there because, like you said, there was no way to track.
Post-Geneva Convention, there should have been some rules. Turns out there weren't, though.
Well, there was no tracking of anybody's behavior, really. I mean, no one knew what anybody was doing over there because they're in the damn jungle, and it's just you didn't know if you were in Cambodia. My uncle was in Vietnam. I heard all the stories. It was chaos.
No, it seemed like a bad time.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but at the end of this movie, it took me a long time to think about how I felt about this movie because the first 2 hours of it, it's like, okay, it's a war movie. I get it. It's really impactful. It's really emotional, but it moves. And the last half hour just sucks the soul out of your body. And it's a brutal watch, and the movie ends, and the ending is a little confusing, and I wasn't really sure how to process it. And then I thought, well, it is a movie about Vietnam. This is probably how I should feel. I should feel dejected and a little dead inside and a little confused because that was the experience of being in the war. Had I felt this way at the end of The Wedding Singer last week, I wouldn't have been a fan. But I think because it's Apocalypse Now, I think this is the way that I was supposed to feel.
Yeah.
And so as a result, turns out Apocalypse Now is a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Maybe not one I'm going to revisit again anytime soon.
That's a one-watcher.
Yeah. It is good to watch a couple times to really get the feel of everything, but it's certainly not a total rewatchable all the time because it makes you feel
bad.
Disturbed.
Yes.
Yeah, disturbed, unrested, uneasy.
It is that sort of funny thing that happens in life where sometimes you experience something a little bit traumatic and then you have to go do another thing and you have to make that, like I watched this movie and I was like, all right, I guess I'll make dinner now. And I'm thinking about Vietnam as I'm cooking my grilled cheese last night. It's just a very strange predicament to be in.
So, do we have another piece of audio or do you want to give a rating right
No,
here?
I think we got to give the rating.
Okay.
It's,
Are you going to do it in heads?
I don't want to do it in heads. That's so sad.
It is sad, but it's true. War is hell, as someone said.
I agree. We'll do it out of napalm strikes.
Oh, that's much better than heads.
Yeah, have some respect.
Sorry. Changed man over here.
Oh, God. Yeah, no, the war crimes were tough with this movie, but it is a movie that is certainly not a date night movie. It's not one to invite all your buddies over to watch and laugh at, but it is one that I think everybody should experience at some point, especially if you're like me over the last 2 years and you've sort of gone through the journey of now watching the essential pieces of film. And I think this very much is one of those things. So while it is a tough watch and while it is unsettling, I think at times as consumers, we should push ourselves to watch these sorts of things and experience them and then sit with that discomfort for a little bit. And so as a result, I have to give Apocalypse Now a very strong 8 napalm strikes out of 10.
Wow.
Appropriate bomb.
Yeah, good rating. There you go. Case's movie review next week. Pretty in Pink. It'll be quite the different review.
I expect to be equally disturbed.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.